today I wanted to talk about how brutal it feels to have people romanticize like the years you were a teenager. So we used to see this a lot with people who kind of were teenagers in like the 50s and the 80s and the 60s and all that stuff. Anyway, and now I don't think I was ready for this. I don't think anybody was. But now I'm seeing people who are teenagers now, like romanticize being a teenager in 2016, 2017, 2018. You know, like the mid to late 2010s, basically. So I'm seeing that more and more on social media, especially on TikTok. And it's so, first of all, I'm not ready for this to happen to me yet, for people to be romanticizing the years that I was a teenager. And I think that probably COVID more than likely kind of exasperated, people having nostalgia for things that were not, things that are in the not so distant past, because I don't remember anyone when I was in high school talking about, oh, I wish I was a teenager during like the 2010 swag era or whatever, Like you never saw that. And now you're seeing people who are romanticizing the 2016, 2015 era that were like 6 years old when it was going on. And I don't know, it's just kind of blackpilling, because it makes you realize that, number one, time is just passing by way too fast. Okay? 2016 does not feel like it was almost a decade ago. Like, it's actually the time pill and the age pill are by far the most brutal pills to swallow, because you're never going to get that back. That's the one thing you can gym max if you have a shitty physique. You can gym max, you can try and looks max, you can finance, you can money max, career max, all that stuff. But there's no making up for the time that you lost. There's no making up for the time you lost to be a teenager. And it's so fleeting. Like, it's so fleeting. And I feel like no one, it's just, time is so, like, you're young for such a short period of time and it goes by so fast. And then after that, it's just the same thing for the rest of your life. Like, you just work, wake up, work, go to sleep, do it all over again. It's harder to make friends once you get past a certain age. It's harder to do things you probably wanted to do when you were young. Like, if you are like me and you regret not, really putting yourself out there with like extracurriculars and that sort of thing, then it's over for you. Like, there's no getting back that time. Like, you can do, like, obviously, like, adult clubs and adult recreational leagues, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same as it was when you were a kid or a teenager. There's no making up for that time. And seeing people romanticize the period of time that I went to high school in, it's kind of brutal, because it's kind of a brutal reminder of what I missed out on, because I really didn't have that time. Like, I even people my age romanticize that time period now, and it's like I didn't experience any of what they're experiencing. Like, I was lonely, I was isolated, I just spent a lot of time in my room, and part of that is my fault. Definitely part of that is my fault. Just my inability to really make friends growing up. I had a few minor successes, but nothing. I could never make anything stick. So a lot of I would say, especially from middle school to my high school years, were very isolating, because I would see everyone, chatting and having fun in the hallways. I would see people, post about going to parties on, their Snapchat story, and I would just be sitting in my room alone, just wishing I could be part of it. I wish that, I just wish I knew what was wrong with me, where I could say, like, this was definitively why I never had many friends, or it's definitively why I don't have a social life now. Like, I do really wish that I could just objectively find out what the hell is wrong with me, to really draw a conclusion from there, because it's sad, because I spent my whole life wondering, like, why am I not like the other kids? Why do I feel different? Why do I feel like I'm occupying a different space in these people? Why do I have such a hard time doing things that come naturally to everybody else? So seeing people romanticize the age that I would have been in high school it's upsetting, you know. And I just had crippling loneliness. I still have crippling loneliness, but I think that's a little bit better now because at least now I don't have to see like, you know, other people enjoying their life. You know, I kind of just, you know, I work for a living, so I'm not seeing, you know, my coworkers post about going to parties all together on their Snapchat story and forgetting about me. But yeah, it's just sad. I really do wish that I could go back and maybe just really put the effort in, because it kind of seemed like to me what came naturally for other people required like a ton of effort put in on my part for things that were coming naturally to other people. And I always wondered, like, what did that mean? You know, why was I genetically just not... I do think it's something with my genetics probably, where I inherited specific traits from my family, because they seem like they've kind of struggled in similar ways to me. Maybe not exactly, but yeah, man, it's just a little depressing and sad. And I do wish that, you know, I would hear people talk, well, I have no friends, and then like you would see them hanging out with a ton of people. So it's like maybe you feel like you don't have any friends, but you still had friends. You still had a friend group. You still had people to socialize with. I didn't have any of that. I truly did not have any of that, and it was so sad and so isolating. It really was isolating to feel that way. Even in college, like, I didn't bother going away to college. I mean, maybe I should have, but I didn't bother because, you know what, it's whatever. I'm used to being alone at this point, and I'm used to being alone, and I kind of felt like I would have just inevitably have ended up, you know, that person in the dorms by themselves, who just goes home on the weekends and does nothing else. Like, that's kind of what I imagine my college experience would have been had I actually gone. And also, I see so many people nostalgic and talking about how they miss college and how they hate being part of the rat race and all that stuff now. So even if I had a good time in college, I mean, the thing is that now I have nothing to miss. Or like, it's not as depressing because like my life has basically been the same, you know, from college to now, because, you know, the only thing is I had school assignments and I worked. Now I'm just working, so I really didn't miss out. You know, I feel like I'm not missing anything anymore because I just don't have anything that I can get nostalgic from college. I kind of just did my own thing. In a way, even though I think I was definitely lonelier during college, in a way it was good because no one bothered me. Like, I didn't feel like I was constantly being left out of stuff just because I went to a commuter school. So like no one really hung out at either about the schools that I went to. I went to a 2-year CC and then just like a regular 4-year school that was more of a commuter school. So like I feel like I didn't miss out on as much because no one was really throwing parties or hanging out or any of that stuff. But yeah, it's just depressing because I see people who are young now talking about how much better it was, because now, you know, people are obviously a lot less social than they were even back then. Even back when cell phones and everything like that were ubiquitous, you know, people aren't as nostalgic, or people aren't as antisocial as they are these days. You know, it's a lot less, you know, it seems like there's a lot less parties and a lot less action going on. Even, you know, I live in my same hometown now, and like I don't hear parties going on at all or anything like that these days, even though, like, you know, there's still a high school there's still kids and everything like that, but it just doesn't seem like they're really doing that as much anymore. But yeah, it's just kind of depressing and kind of black-pilling, and it kind of makes me remind me of the time that I really missed out on to really have those good memories. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. This is my first video on this channel. You know, I'm kind of going to use this channel as like a diary of sorts, to talk about my issues and my internal struggles and all that sort of thing. Kind of seems like it's going to be a therapeutic thing for me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.